Akash Inti, your favorite reflection of you, just got out of yoga class and got back from LA, from Hollywood, after the Evolution of Consciousness 2020 convention. Today I'm talking about purpose and something that kind of came to me during yoga class itself. Something I found that I've struggled with quite a bit of some time in my life is this whole idea of purpose and being on purpose. Now, specifically, I think this relates to men because I don't know about you guys, but I've found that when I don't have a specific purpose as to why I'm doing something, then I'm like, well, I don't really want to do this. And then it eventually ends up cutting my productivity or whatever I have to do, whatever I'm trying to get done, it just gets done slower. So this whole concept of, I'm finding that it's so important to find out what is your purpose for any activity that you do. Now, this could be a daily discipline. This could be for something as simple as having to get your dry cleaning done if you work an office job, or if you just happen to have really cool outfits. No, I'm just kidding around. Or just going grocery shopping. Like, what is your purpose for each of these activities? And it's so important to define it for yourself. Because when these purposes are defined, it makes the follow-through of the action that much swifter or easier. So this is just, it's a huge thing that I've come to realize and understand more and more and deeper. And to define these for not only for myself, but for others, especially when I'm asking others to do other or specific tasks for me. And this is really, I think, particularly important for anyone who's a manager or manages other people. And we need to remind ourselves that we're actually first managing ourselves. So if we don't define these purposes for ourselves, it ends up making the follow-through of specific activities a bit slower. And so this is how it relates to others as well. And here I am babbling a little bit and not necessarily being 100% clear, but that's what happens sometimes, right? Our mind is not necessarily always clear, even after a yoga class. But nonetheless, I found the word purpose is kind of synonymous with intention. In other words, when we have a purpose for something, we have an intention for it. We have a reason, is another way of putting it. We have a mission. And I found the bigger that we make the purpose itself, the easier the follow-through. And the greater the purpose, the greater the tasks that are able to be achieved. In other words, if I were to say my purpose to going to yoga class was to be healthy and be in shape, that's a purpose, and that could be enough to get certain people up and at 'em out of the morning to get to yoga class. For myself, what's the purpose of going to yoga in the morning? Or to do yoga in the morning? It's to stretch my mind, body, and soul with the breath, with the sacred breath of the universe. To give me, car alarms going off, to give me clarity. Now, if I were to say to be healthy and to be in shape, that doesn't juice me. And this is another concept that I've learned more and more is we need to craft our own language for the world and for our experiences. For example, to say I went to the grocery store, everyone can relate to that idea, but it's not as relatable because, well, there's so many things that could have happened, or there's so many experiences that are omitted or that simply are not described as a result of that type of bland communication. Another way I've been putting it is I adventured at the local market for fresh, juicy tomatoes. Now, in that second one, it's a bit more vivid of an experience, and one's able to understand that experience a lot better, and it gives more richness to it. It enlivens it. It makes that experience that much more juicy. And so I challenge and I dare you all to come up with more juicy, vivid, vivacious, eclectic ways of describing the world around you, and to really squeeze the nectar of life and milk and harvest every ounce of beauty, strength, and wisdom from everything around you. Keep up, thrive, and stay